Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. I have recently surpassed 500 subs, thank you. And to celebrate that fact on my channel, I thought I'd go ahead and do a new series on my EDC bag. So let's get started. Due to my filming setup, this is going to be difficult to get completely into frame, so bear with me. But I figured the obvious place to start with this series is going to be the exterior of the bag. So this was a one strap bag that I found on sale at Walmart for 11 whole dollar dues, and it seemed like a good build for what I needed. So basically I was looking for an everyday carry bag. I could put all my tools in, not necessarily going to need it on a daily basis, but would be very nice to have it on a daily basis items. As we delve deeper into this bag, you'll get more of the philosophy and mindset with it, but suffice it to say, this is a bag that I will have with me on the daily, not necessarily carrying on my person, but will have with me. Can have in the car, can have on the bicycle, can have on the motorcycle and the saddlebags or the trunk, can be wearing it on hikes, Then the kids came along. I have two of them under the age of 4.5. I wouldn't recommend. But with that came the obligations of life support. Diapers, wipes, bottles, food, snacks, beverages, stuff like that. Going out to the park and all that stuff. So this is a bag that I would have reason to have with me anyways. Let me go ahead and add some of the stuff that I may need with me. And I may need to have it when I need it, not let me go out to the garage and get it. Let me find and fumble around for a first aid kit. I have it with me. So that's the prerequisite. Again, this is going to be a little difficult to fully see. I'm going to try and have some auxiliary lighting for what difference that is or isn't going to make. But it is a, I would say, I think it's a 15 or 20 liter bag. It's relatively small, smaller than my torso, I guess would be the best way to go about that. But at its width, we're looking at 9 inches wide by probably 16 inches tall. And at the thickest portion, we're looking about 7 inches. So it's bigger than a purse, holds more things than useful things than a purse. But this is something that I carry on the daily. I've had a couple coworkers ask me about it. Those of you who are familiar with my channel may have heard me lovingly refer to it as my Mary Poppins bag. So before getting into the bag, let's talk about the exterior of the bag. Again, this is a single strap bag, a sling bag that allows me to sling it over my shoulder, sling it over my torso, secure it onto a chair, a couple different means of storing it or carrying it that doesn't have a bunch of flaps going everywhere and binding onto things and getting snagged and whatnot. Across the chest, I can mount a flashlight on here, and up on these top ones, when it's on your shoulder, when it's across your chest, will essentially be pointing straight forward. So I have a hands-free way of having a light source. I have also carried on the channel this guy. These are $1.25 at Dollar Tree. They run on 3 AAA batteries. I have a neodymium magnet on them, but I also have these two clips, essentially, and that is for the band that would go onto your head to turn it into a forehead lamp. You can clip it onto these straps, and now you have a hands-free, almost Iron Man-ish, chest-mounted light source. So whatever you're working on in front of you is going to be illuminated and hands-free by having it connected onto that strap. Additionally, if you have a multi-tool or something with a belt clip, you can clip it on there and have access to the tool when you need it. If you're trying to work on something but now you don't need the tool, you can put it on your chest, almost like a bandolier, and have that tool with you if you don't have a shelf or some place to set it. So a couple uses there. It is adjustable. One of the things I do is I leave it completely loose. That allows me to swim in and out of it pretty easily, and then I could just grab it with my right hand and cinch it tight against me. To allow me to do that, you'll see here on the last 2 inches, I sewed in this Velcro strap, and that's going to act as a break or a stop. That gives me 3 fingers, right, worth of fabric that I now have a pull cord to cinch it against me. So a couple things going on there. The last thing we have is I added a carabiner on here. This is going to sit essentially right at hip level when this is actually mounted on you. Again, the camera is not ideal for this. I do apologize. But with this clip, you now have a third hand. I've used this with shopping bags. If you're a connoisseur of flea markets like I am, you can have a bag hanging from this bag. You clip it into here, and now it's hanging off of your left hip. And you can use it to store vegetables or whatever small trinkets and items you've got. The last time I took the kids to the local metro park, there's an indoor area. They didn't need their jackets anymore, as opposed to being outside where it's actively precipitating that cold stuff that the S word I'm not allowed to say, snow. It's amazing and everyone should love it. But I was able to clip their jackets onto this clip, and now I don't have to carry it or have it under an arm, restricting the movements of that arm. I'm borderline OCD. I felt like I've mentioned that before, but those of you new to the channel, strap in. So this gives you a means to use several different gripping, clamping, collection, hanging jackets, bags. Sometimes when we go to the park, we'll just walk there. Humans are assholes, so the majority of the time there's some kind of trash or debris on the side of the road. So I'll strap a shopping bag on here, and as I pick it up, I just toss it into that bag. I can rip it free of this and just throw the bag in the trash. So very simple ad. I just ran it through the existing strap and make it whatever color you want, but super useful. And then this also has a quick way to detach the bag to get what you need to. Rolling onto the side, I have a few odds and ends here. I have hand sanitizer. Again, 2 kids under the age of 4.5, wouldn't recommend. Turns out their hands get dirty, like can't stay clean, dirty. So hand sanitizer. Also, excellent fire starter. You don't even need a flame, you need a spark. So even if you have a lighter that the fuel has ran out of or got wet and can't actually produce a flame, any spark will get this lit. A dollop, a small enough amount that you would use for your hands, would probably burn for probably more than a minute. It actually burns pretty easily, is very difficult to blow out, ergo is relatively weather resistant, shall we say. So starting a fire in the wind and the rain in less than ideal situations is made all the easier by having some hand sanitizer. That is connected to a carabiner, so I can disconnect either the canister from the carabiner or the carabiner from the bag. What it does as well is it acts as a stop, a holding mechanism for my trauma shears. These are trauma shears. They are used to shear through stuff during a trauma. How about that? It's in the name. What this does is, my dad's an EMT firefighter. I don't pretend to know anything about medical treatments and all, but I do carry some stuff with me in case the situation ever arises. Basically, anything you do that isn't shoving material into the human body is going to help the situation. So do take some courses. I intend to here shortly, but this is a scissor that is useful for cutting a shirt off, a jacket off, cutting off pants, getting to the injury. Fabric will absorb blood, and that blood will, follow the path of least resistance or follow gravity. It'll discharge out the bottom of the shirt when it's actually a sucking chest wound, something like that. So this is a way to, without having to contort the already injured, maybe unconscious, maybe spinal or neck injury person, I now don't have to swim them out of a shirt. I can just cut the shirt off. I can get to the wound sooner, faster, with less trauma added to the patient and start treating what needs to be treated. So all that to say, I use that on the existing loops on the side here. Goes right in, open it a little bit. This rocks in between the 2 handles and it holds it into place. Below that, I have quick access to a couple of writing utensils. So I have a red Click Sharpie, a black Click Sharpie. I have a silver one inside here. That'll be covered at a later time. And then I have a red and blue ink pen. So I don't even have to get inside my bag. If I can get to my bag, I have a means of writing down notes, phone numbers, dates, times, persons' names, emergency contacts, stuff like that. Again, associated with the trauma stuff. If you come across someone who has a traumatic injury, they could be unconscious very quickly. They could succumb to their injuries. They could be losing enough blood where they become unconscious. Are they on meds? Are they blood thinners? Do they need to be on meds? Are they diabetic? What's their blood type? How old are they? What's their address? What's a contact for that person? I have the means right here to address some things. And it's just a quick draw. I have what I need when I need it. I can identify it from the exterior. I know that it's there, and I know how to get to it. Moving on, there's a, I don't really have a use for it. There's a little D-ring here, and then there's this, I guess you could cinch something onto it. But basically, I cut a plastic hanger for kids' clothes. Did I mention I have kids? I feel like I mentioned that. Cut it off. It's now a clip. That clip allows me to clip things into it. If I'm wearing a hat, sometimes I wear fedoras or wide-rimmed pseudo cowboy hats, depending on the weather, if it's raining and whatnot. This gives me a means that I can connect that hat to my bag as I'm wearing the bag or set the bag down or whatever. It keeps the hat off the ground. It makes it where it's not getting crushed and folded up inside the bag. It gives me a quick way to access that. Scarves, hats, jackets, lighter items, of course, because you have to not overcome the mechanical spring here with how heavy it is. But that gives me a means of attaching. It's white up against a black bag, so it's high contrast, easy to find. The next thing, we'll get to the main portion last. Here's my trick for the video. This is a pocket that would hold a water bottle. Well, I don't have a use for a water bottle that I have to perpetually change the water out on, and it's going to start smelling and breaking down over time, and I don't care. I have access to water. So what I did is you go to Dollar Tree, and these are $1.25 each. I have 3 of them in here, and that now gives me 3 already compartmentalized. You can write on the fabric what's in there. Additional storage pods, essentially, where I can, by color designation or by writing on them, store more accessories, more items in there. And again, this will be covered in a later video. Before we get to the exterior, you'll notice I have some colors on my zipper pulls. So what I did is my main zipper is yellow. My medicine and medical is red with a pseudo cross for those who are paying attention. And then this one is blue. So this is color coordinated where now I'm not trying to chase a black, is it this black string? Is it this black string? Is it this black string? Is it this black? Is it, where the hell is my zipper? I know where it is. It's right here. It's the blue, the red, or the yellow. So the contrast, even the blue on black in the dark, you can see that. The red on black, you can see that. It makes finding it in less than ideal conditions easier. Also, since it's heat shrink material, you can do whatever color you want, but the heat shrink is going to be it's almost a rubber band kind of surface. So it gives you the adhesion of a rubber band. I can grip that better than a wet piece of plastic, assuming it's raining or snowy outside, especially if I have gloves on. So this gives you a little bit better means of grabbing in addition to identifying. And now, if I'm dealing with a traumatic injury on someone, my hands are covered in blood or whatever, I don't have time, or maybe it's not as sterile to start touching a bag that's been everywhere. So if I need to tell someone, you need to get the first aid kit out of the red zipper pouched portion, that's going to give them a way to better understand instead of the top of the bag. No, not that top, this top. No, not that top. Okay, the patient's dead, never mind, right? So it is a way to coordinate and better identify and get better grasps on those key grips or zipper pulls, I guess would be the better way of doing it. Now for the final portion, up at the top, I went ahead and got some orange wrap from Dollar Tree. Love me some Dollar Tree. You'll notice the whole time that orange really stands out. So now I have a black bag that has an orange contact at the top. So as we're identifying and labeling individual compartments, I now know the orientation of my bag based on where that orange is. I know if this is the top of my bag, if this is the top, that's the top, this is the top. Again, think during the winter, trying to grab this out of a car, it's been shifting and rolling around in your trunk. I know I can just grab it with two hands and pick it up, but if I can find that orange strap, I can grab it one-handed and pull the bag whenever, wherever I need to. Plus, I have orange wrap. Not sterile, so I wouldn't use it to actually wrap a wound unless there was something in between it and the wound, but that also gives me a means of tying up something, binding up something, tying two things together, roll it into a rope, use it for fire tinder, whatever. So it's there. It's acting as a identification thing. It's also acting as, I do have a patch here that I removed because it has my last name on it, and you guys don't need to be privy to that. But it does act as a way to draw attention from behind. So I'm acutely aware of what's going on in front of me. Did I mention OCD? I feel like I mentioned OCD. So I'm aware of everything happening in front of me. Very little of what's going on behind me. So if I'm walking down the road or if I'm hunting or going through the woods, on the trails or something like that, this orange is hopefully going to draw attention and people aren't going to say, that's a bear. People are going to say, that's a human, and equally keep their distance because, well, people are evil. Moving on down, we have a 10,000 milliamp hour USB battery backup. So this one's pretty nice. I believe I've had it in another video, but this will wirelessly charge off of a charging pad. And this will wirelessly charge my devices without using a cable. So I can charge my phone and my earbuds with this without getting a cable. I can also use the USB-A and use any USB cable that I have. And I do have cables in this bag. Other people would have cables. They just don't have a power source or they're not by a wall or what have you. Additionally, it will charge from a USB-C and a micro USB charging port. So I have two different USB cables I can charge it from. I can charge it from a wireless charging pad. I can charge it from the car, from the office, from the wall receptacle right there. All sorts of ways that I can top this off. For those of you new to the channel, this is a USB, micro USB puck, essentially. It will stay in there, and I have a USB charging cable that is magnetic. This is magnetic. So if I get it close to the cable, it will magnetize onto it and start charging this without me having to futz around and flip it one way and then the other. You guys know how USB cables work. So that allows me a couple different ways to charge this. Additionally, it fits just right inside this pouch. And I can both check the charge condition and plug in a USB cable to a device that I have sitting here or a device that I've routed inside my bag by plugging it in right here. So easily accessible, easy to check the charge capacity on it, easy to charge it. I can just pull this out a little bit more. Connect a USB cable, have this charging if I need to grab my bag and go. That is the grandfather clock, by the way. Stand by for the cuckoo clock, both of which everyone should own. I can just disconnect. Told you, cuckoo clock. I can just disconnect that cable, push it into place, take the bag, and get gone. And this will be able to charge all the accessories I have in the bag, as well as the accessories I have on my Batman utility belt. Underneath that, I have a chemical light. Once you break it, it chemically interacts and it produces light. So does it require batteries? Does it need to be recharged? Doesn't have to be replaced. It's a one-time use kind of thing. So I do have that. It is connected to the bag, 1, so it does not get lost. 2, so my kids will stop pulling it and breaking it. And now I don't know that there's a chemical light that I have to replace because I didn't use it. The freaking kids did. And once I activate it, I can just have it dangling from my bag. And again, it acts as a way to illuminate behind me and let people know behind me that I am there. Do not hit me, please. That would be greatly appreciated. Moving down, we have a set of black and white zip ties. I just horseshoed them in between the straps here. Quick access, easy to get to. Haven't really needed them, but cheap enough to carry. They are there when you need it. Adventuring, camping, stuff like that, it's going to be there. This is very similar to this. I believe this one is something you'd be able to buy versus this guy. But it's essentially a silicone wrapped section of flexible metal, and it allows you to bend it into shapes and it will hold that shape. So with this, I can make a tripod or a bipod for my phone and take selfies or time-lapse photography or stuff like that. I can basically bend it into whatever shape I need it to be. I can hook it around the branch of a tree and turn it into a hook. And now I can hang a jacket off of it or something like that. Jacket off. No one? No one? Okay. I thought that was pretty quality. If you agree, tell me so in the comments. But you can turn it into whatever angle you want. Again, the more usable idea behind it would be using it for hanging things or a bipod, tripod kind of setup for your phone. The last thing I have is a quick detach keychain system. I can pull this guy, then use the clip to remove it if it comes off. And now I have a flashlight. This is the S11 flashlight. I love this flashlight, by the way. Let me get this out of the way. Fantastic flashlight. A video will be coming on this. It's the best you can do for $5. It 400 lumens, hands-free, magnet built in, has a area light that illuminates off the side, has a number of different settings. This one is great for charging up the lume on your flashlight, and it will actually glow in the dark. So the sun will charge up the chassis, does not charge the flashlight battery. It charges up the plastic chassis, and it makes finding it at night easier. If I don't want to kill the battery or blow my pupils shut by destroying the night vision that I have, you can cover it with your thumb. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. That activates the UV light, again, for charging up your lume or charging up the flashlight. Wait a couple seconds, and it's actually bright enough that I can read a map from probably 4 or 5 inches away just off of the lume of the body. So I'm not even using the battery to give me a light source that can be used in OCD. There. Can be used in map reading or going to the bathroom during camping or something without waking up all of your fellow campers. So would highly recommend that flashlight. There's been a number of videos on my channel, more to follow. Next, we have a peanut lighter, essentially a Zippo lighter. Runs on the same Zippo fuel. This one is actually has an O-ring, so it is airtight. It is watertight. So unlike a Zippo that you have to recharge every week, this one I think goes about 6 months with constant playing and flicking before I've had to recharge it. Wrapped around it is twine. This twine is impregnated with beeswax. And the notion there is you would light it. You would light the beeswax without blowing out the wick. And now you have the wick that's being burned instead of your precious fuel. And I can bend the wick and extend it out to light something further away from me. I can cut this section and throw it underneath a fire that I'm trying to start. And that will allow the fire to have a flame under it without me having to tie up my hand or risk burning my hand or something like that. I could just cut that section, light it like a fuse, toss it underneath, and that's going to give the pile a little bit longer, a little bit more active flame to actually get lit. It is waterproof, tested in a previous video. Again, feel free to peruse my channel for that. The beeswax is, it's not sticky, but it is kind of oily and greasy enough where if you wrap it against itself tight enough, it will hold in place. And I have not had that unfray on me as I've been using this bag for probably 2 years now. The last thing I have, of course, is the tried and true Victorinox 58mm. This is the Generation 1, not Swiss Champ, Mini Champ. And it has all sorts of odds and ends, scissors, nail file, flathead screwdriver, depth gauge, ruler, tweezers, toothpick, 2 blades, package opener, and nail file with a 2-dimensional Phillips on there. In addition to the toothpick and tweezers, as I said, the other thing I have on the scale is my name and number. So right on the outside of this bag are the means to communicate with me if someone finds my bag, if someone finds me unconscious, if whatever. There is a contact for, you know, my name, who I am, my phone number. You'd be able to cross-reference that, figure out who you would need to contact, kind of thing. And I have other contacts for my relatives in a Altoids tin, also in another YouTube video. Would recommend having a paper copy of primary contacts, mother, father, wife, girlfriend, local siblings, something like that, in case your phone gets stolen, screen gets shattered, battery dies, loss of signal, or you know, your passcode gets reset by a little kid, or these are things that have happened. So that's essentially what I have on the outside of the bag. This is going to be one of more than one videos for this new mini series I'm doing. So that's what I got. If there's anything that you guys thought was pretty nifty, go ahead and tell me in the comments section below. If there's anything that you do on the outside of your bag that you think maybe I've overlooked, go ahead and tell me that as well. If you don't have an everyday carry bag, did I convince you to maybe carry one? If you do have an everyday carry bag, what do you carry and what do you carry in it? Let's start a conversation down below. So that's pretty much what I got for this introductory series. That's going to be like 30 minutes, but quite a few things that aren't really expensive. I would say the most expensive thing on here is probably the Victorinox, and that's if you buy it new. You're looking at maybe $40 for one of these. Look at eBay. It's your friend. You're going to destroy the thing anyways because you're going to be using it. These things are ridiculously handy. I carry far too many of them on me, but I've already purchased it. I figure it's better to have it with me and have it accessible than storing it in a drawer somewhere. So that is about what I got. I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. Again, thank you for those of you who have subscribed. Just past 500 subscribers in, man, just over a year. A year and a month and a half. So 14 months. Not bad. So again, that's what we have for today. This is outside the target demographic. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I will catch you guys in the next video.